Page 142. Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sameach. We are privileged to be in the midst of a time of great joy in Judaism. First of all, Yom Kippur is over. That's always a good time for all of us. Now we're at Shabbat, our weekly recognition of holiness and connection, but this is also the middle of the holiday of Sukkot, a time of joy, the only holiday we're told in the Torah to celebrate with joy. So let's make sure to do that tonight and add our words and our songs and our prayers. There is much that is not joy in our life, but tonight, let's focus a little bit more on the blessings, on the positive things in our life. One of those positives is that Wendy Zilber and Stacey Rosenblatt are leading our music tonight. Cantor is off at a family wedding, and we're so delighted to have the two of them here with us this evening. And another part of our joy is celebrating that Milo Schwartz's bar mitzvah is this Shabbat. And so we invite to the bima to start our candle lighting, Jesse, Robert, Aubrey, Nadine, and Milo Schwartz. Page 121.
these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
The Kiddush is on page 123. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon, yinkilanu, zikaron le'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'e kodesh, zeker l'tziat mitzrayim, ki banu b'avarta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, hingaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. Please be seated. As we celebrate all of our communities, those that are able to be here in person this evening, those that join us in our live stream, and all of us who are here in our hearts wherever we may be. We turn to page 127 using the page numbers that are in the brackets, and we read responsively by paragraph. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We welcome Shabbat as we welcome the Sabbath bride, Lecha Dodi, page 138. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, and then rising for verse 9.
Shabbat Mekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hamyukad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shavut tiferet v'vitila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat Mekabela
Please rise. We remain standing and turn to page 146 for the call to worship. Together on 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, B'chokma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshek, v'choshek mipnei or. Umavir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150, we read together. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152. Please be seated. We invite back up to the bima our bar mitzvah, Milo Schwartz, as we turn to the Yahafta on page 154.
ויחפת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושתנתן לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 157. We read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Nora, Tehilot, Hosea.
When a Jewish holiday and Shabbat meet together, some people tend to push off the Shabbat part of it and focus on the once-a-year thing, the holiday. But that's not what Judaism teaches us. The Shabbat, the weekly, the every, all the time, actually in some ways takes more precedence over the holiday. And so on this Shabbat, we sing a song for Shabbat, V'shamru, on page 162. We continue with the Tefillah using the even-numbered pages in our prayer book, beginning on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai, Adonai, Sifatai, Sifatai, Tiftan, Adonai, Uvia Gitilatecha, Adonai, Adonai, Sifatai, Sifatai, Tiftan, Adonai, Uvia Gitilatecha, Adonai, Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu,
Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, Umevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Orid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somek Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Likamocha Baal Givurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit, Umekaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah Lachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Nikayei HaKol. Atah Kadosh, V'shimcha Kadosh, V'kadoshim b'chol yom Yehalalu Kasela. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Together, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. A prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech gadol, lekol hashalom. Ki atahu melech gadol, lekol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'kol עת ולכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim
We continue with our own private prayers of peace in silence. holiday of Sukkot, we share in the shaking of the lulav and the etrog, and we also offer Hallel praises to God. Often they're done together in the sanctuary. While we do Hallel, we also shake the lulav and the etrog, and that's what we're going to do tonight. For those of you who would like to shake the lulav and the etrog after services, a few minutes after services, I'll meet people down in the sukkah, and we can do it one by one out there. But for now, I get ready to do it, and so we need a couple blessings for that. So first, the blessing for the lulav. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al nitilat lulav. And the Hallel blessing is on page 560. You know what, let's do the one on page 558. Same blessing, but for other purposes. Page 558. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et ha'Hallel. Now, Hallel is one of the number of psalms that are done. These psalms are not necessarily, cantors love these psalms, they're written beautifully, and if you grew up traditionally, you might know some of the psalms very well. But for many of you who grew up in a Reformed congregation, these psalms are not as accessible. So I wanted to pick one tonight that we might be able to do a little easier. So if you look on page 558 at Psalm 118, whether you're looking in the Hebrew or the transliteration, repeat after me. The first word is hodu. The second word is ladonai, which means give thanks to God. Those are all the words. So you can't tell me you don't. So just again, hodu ladonai. Great. Here we go. Hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu ladonai, hodu. Good. Now we've all done our Hallel and praised God. We turn now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service, beginning on page 364. We invite to join us up on the bima, Monty Zilber, and we invite everyone to please rise.
Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadolu Elanaiti, Uremo Shemo Yavdan. Lecha Adonai Hagidu, Olami Hagidu, Hatiferet, Eretz Ha'avot. Ki kol bashamayim u'ba'aretz, ki kol bashamayim u'ba'aretz, lecha Adonai ha'olam, Elon elazeh v'korosh.
Please be seated. Giving us sneak peek of his bar mitzvah service tomorrow morning. We invite to read from the Torah, our bar mitzvah, Milo Schwartz, and offering the Aliyah, the blessings over the Torah. We invite up Carl and Judy Kaiserman.
Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu Torah, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Before Milo starts chanting, he is going to be reading from the Torah portion, which is the Chol HaMoed Sukkot portion. It's out of order from the weekly Torah portions. It's Exodus 33, beginning on verse 15. And in the Plout commentaries in front of you, it's on page 592.
Amen. Vayomer Elav Im ein panecha holhim al ta'alenu mizeh uvameh yevada efo ki matzati chen be'einecha ani ve'amecha halo belechtecha imanu v'niflinu ani ve'amcha mikol ha'am asher al panecha adama. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Gam Et Hadavar Hazeh Asher Dibarta E'eseh Ki Matzata Chen Be'enai Va'eda'acha B'Shem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam notah b'tachenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. With the Torah out in front of us, we share a special blessing of healing and hope, a Mishaberach, for all those who are sick or ill. We think of all of those fighting COVID around the world, all of those struggling with any disease, illness, and loss. And we think of our temple members and temple family, Elaine Wall, Ronnie Heller, Jamie Stern, Leah Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Sadie Rosenkrantz, Roberta Traeger, Jody Ann Herman, Judith Lacasio, Rochelle Weinberg, Don Levy, Meg Levine, Roz Liederman, Gloria Golden. We invite you to name out loud or in the chat anyone you're particularly thinking of at this time. For all those that we hold strength for, a Mishaberach for healing, the middle of page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones
Amen. As we lift and dress the Torah, we invite everyone to please rise.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל באדוני ביד משה.
We return the Torah to the Ark with the words on page 374, and we invite Shelley Radbell to join us on the bima. Please be seated. There's a synagogue in Manhattan that has a huge, gorgeous sukkah on their bima. The flower budget of that sukkah alone might run our temple for a month. The sukkah is big enough to fit an elephant under, and if you think that's an odd thing to say, that's actually a measure of sukkah in the Talmud that you could fit. And frankly, you might be able to fit an elephant standing on an elephant in this sukkah. It is a gorgeous sukkah with flowers, fruit, and vegetables to rival a farmer's market. It certainly matches the commandment known as Hiddur Mitzvah. Hiddur Mitzvah is a commandment to beautify all your mitzvot. The concept comes from Exodus 15:2. This is my God, and I will glorify him. The rabbis interpreted the call to glorify God as an invitation to fulfill mitzvot not in a perfunctory way, but to go out of your way to fulfill mitzvot in a beautiful way. There are many ways to engage in Hiddur Mitzvah. Sukkot is certainly one of those holidays that lets you engage in it more than any other. For example, when you buy your lulav and your etrog, you may find people looking at it and carefully analyzing their lulav and etrog to get the most perfect one they possibly can. Rabbi Zera in the Talmud taught us, one should be willing to pay even more than 1/3 the normal price for the cost of an etrog. Now, I'll remind you, this is an etrog. It's a big citrus fruit. It smells very nice. It tastes terrible, and it's only grown in a handful of places because there isn't much of a market for etrogs beyond this 1 week a year for Jews. Jewish folklore is replete with stories about Jews of modest circumstances paying more than they could afford for the most beautiful etrog to enhance their observance of Sukkot. Watching Jews in Israel or here even on Main Street line up with a jeweler's loupe or a magnifying glass to analyze each and every etrog until they find the one that is just perfect for them. In the wonderful Israeli film Ushpizim, the main character pays 1,000 shekels for an etrog. which in dollars is a lot of money. Of course, we all do this in various ways, maybe not in etrogim, but in other things. Some of us might do it in what we pay for in clothing, or houses, or cars, in restaurants that we go out to, in our baseball card collection, or our stamps. Whatever is important and enlivens our passions, we may be willing to pay a lot more than anyone else would because we find it beautifies our love and joy of that thing. For our family, for ourselves, we try and make the most, and we hidor, we beautify what we find in life. Other examples of hidor mitzvah abound. Rabbi Jonathan Blake wrote, "The Torah scroll in your synagogue took a full year for a scribe to write, because the sofer beautified the script with elaborate calligraphy. Next time you're at a Torah up close, look carefully at the text. They didn't just write it out in the Hebrew letters. Each letter is beautified with crowns on the top of it. It is a labor of love. We carefully enrobe the Torah in its mantle and crown with beautiful silver, reflecting ancient Israel. We take a mitzvah that could just be put the Torah in stuff, and we make it something beautiful." We do this in many areas in Judaism. We do it in our talitot. I have maybe 8 talitot. I don't need 8 talitot. I can only wear one at a time, but each one is beautiful and tells a story to me about where I got it and what it teaches me. I have kippot in almost every color, it seems. And a lot of that's because I like to match my kippah to my outfit, but a lot of it is because every bar mitzvah, they make a different kippah in a different color. Tomorrow, Milo's will be in yellow, and I'll add it to my collectors. I don't think I have that color. If you go to our kippah box that we have outside and dig through it, you'll just see each family chose and carefully picked how they were going to make the kippah for their bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah. They took time to focus on it and make it something special. At its best, Reform Judaism itself is a manifestation of hidor mitzvah. Early reformers lamented that the prayer service had become a sterile exercise, dry and devoid of inspiration. Services became an obligation to get through rather than a moment to connect with the majesty and tenderness of the prayers. Many of the earliest reforms aspired to enhance the beauty of worship, particularly through music. Aesthetics became a pathway to spiritual awareness and joy in religious observance. As you heard Wendy and Stacey lead us tonight, they didn't just sing the prayers. They sang beautiful melodies and harmonies and connections to enliven each one of the prayers and make them special. And yet, with all the beauty available for us on Hidor Mitzvah, it presents a clear risk as well. Rabbi Micah Greenstein notes that Hidor Mitzvah often goes hand in hand with simply spending more money than the next person. He writes, "Did you ever notice how the most expensive talitot are often worn only once at the child's B'nai Mitzvah? Money and meaning do not go hand in hand with ritual objects. Next year's fashion catalog may advertise a handmade platinum Chanukiah worth $12,000, but your child's whimsical and inexpensive Chanukiah made into religious school will be far more valuable to you. In an age of narcissism and abundance, the monetary connotation often associated with the Hidor Mitzvah should give us pause." In that Israeli film Ushpizin, the 1,000 shekel etrog ends up being chopped into a salad by some guests who thought it was a big lemon. It is too easy to turn this completely into a discussion on money. All homemade Judaica is lovely, but it is rarely practical, usable, long-lasting, and sometimes a better try than a result. A reminder that the homemade Hanukkah is gorgeous because your child made it, but is often bursts into flame if you actually use it, so be careful. We are making beautiful things in our community all the time, and that's the importance, that we focus on making something beautiful, whether it be the words we say, the actions we take, the items we do it in, to turn the moment not just into the action, but into a beautiful action. Hidor Mitzvah teaches an essential Jewish lesson. As we do a mitzvah, don't just do it. Don't mumble through the prayers, casually engage in blessings, and haphazardly arrange special moments of celebration. Do it with zest, energy, and joy. Make it beautiful and come alive. If we bring ourselves fully into our doing of mitzvot, it won't be the cost that makes the beauty, but our loving spirit that glorifies God and our community. Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sameach. We share now some of the blessings and beauties of our own lives, some of the simchas and joys that face our world. So we invite you here in the sanctuary, if there's something good going on in your life, to raise your hand. I'll come over, tell us your name, and then tell us what good thing is going on in your world. And if you're on our live stream, please make sure to add it to the chat for all to see.
Hi, I'm Jody here. Next week, Thursday, I'm going to my cousin's bat mitzvah in California. I'll be back Sunday, and I haven't seen my family in 2 years, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. Yeah.
My name's Aubrey, and my brother's bar mitzvah is tomorrow, so I get to see my whole family.
My name's Scott, and last week I was lucky enough to see Alvin and Stuart's wedding. It was very beautiful. I felt very lucky to be there.
I'm Judy Kaiserman, and we came up to New York, Carl and I, to see Rabbi Mark and our other son, Saul, and our 2 grandchildren and our daughter-in-law.
I'm Carl Kaiserman. We have the honor of having a largest gathering of our family in years for a special Judy birthday.
I'm midway through my name is Suzanne Smiley, and I'm midway through a renovation, and I'm surviving it so far. Barely, but.
Hi, I'm Gwen Leifer, and this weekend we're going back to Broadway for the first time since the shutdown.
My name is Clayton Frank, and I've gone back to school for the first time in person in a year and a half last week, finally getting to play music in person with other peers, and it's amazing.
My name is Ray Gimbelman. 17 years ago, my son was bar mitzvah right here in this temple, and he just made me a grandfather for the first time in my life at the age of 79. And my mom, my granddaughter is, her name is Lauren Ivy, and she's named after my mom, who passed away on the second day of Sukkot, 1990, on the same day that my son was exactly 3 months old. And she was able to hold him in her arms. So I'm very grateful. I'm here to say Taj.
Hi, I'm Susie Gilbard, and Mark, my husband, just got the date of October 17th for the film that he restored to be shown on Turner Classic Movies. Roaring Road, Silent Sunday.
My name is Arlene Green. On Wednesday, I had a doctor visit where we revisited a cancer scare that I had last summer, and everything is good.
We look for many more blessings to find in our lives and share and draw strength together. We move now to the closing blessings of our service, beginning with the Aleinu in the middle of page 586. Please rise. Please be seated. We think now of people we miss so very much, who give us strength and life and love long after they've gone from this world and body, whose heart and soul is with us every day. This week marks the art site, the anniversary of the passing of James Byrne, Jeanette H. Cohen, Joseph Cohen, Catherine Ruth Doctorow, Carl Foyer, John Frankley, David Gardner, Harry Geen, Betty Gimbelman, Belle Glasser, Lloyd Goldfarb, Mike Gottesman, Vivian Grodsley, Otto Israel, Ann Jakowski, Erwin Jelinek, Violet Kahan, Leonard Kammerman, Ralph Lehman, Pauline Magid-Levin, David Masla, Angelo May, Adi Mizwidsky, Morris E. Packer, Etta E. Pfeiffer, Maxwell Rosenberg, Samuel Rosenkrantz, Isaac Rosenthal, Nathan Rosenthal, Fanny Rutsky, Louis L. Schwab, Joseph Seidman, Sadie Seidman, Saul Seifer, Bess Schill, Gerald Silberger, Hyman Silverman, Michael Smith, Fritzie White, Benjamin W. Witter, Alice Judith Wolfe. We note in sadness the passing a few days ago of longtime Temple member Edith Schmuckler, who will be laid to rest on Sunday, and the recent passings of our Temple member Elise Leibowitz, Stanley Feldman, father of Allison Weiss, Martin Paru, father of Elena Spivak. If there's someone you're particularly thinking of at this time, we invite you to put it into the chat online or share it out loud with all of us. For all those we hold in our hearts, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah be'alma devra charuteh v'yamlik malchuteh b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael b'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarak le'olam omei almaya Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu le'ela minko birkata v'shirata tushbakata v'nekamata damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlamar rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every broken heart among us, and let us say amen. Please be seated. Now with some announcements and words of upcoming events to our congregation, our temple president, Neil Rosenblatt.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Thank you as always to Rabbi, to Cantor, Alan, Cheryl, Faye, Andy, Juan, Joe, Bonnie, Mark, and Tony Mack for their work behind the scenes that allow us to enjoy our time together when we are together. A hearty mazel tov to Milo on becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow, and congrats also to his parents, Jesse and Robert, and his sisters, Aubrey and Nadine. Please join us tomorrow morning on our live stream to celebrate with them. That'll be at 10:30. One of the things that makes RTF so special is that we're truly a participatory congregation, be it helping lead services, reading or delivering a Devar Torah, or like tonight, helping lead us in song. A big thank you to my good friend Wendy and my incredible wife Stacy for feeling so capable for Cantor this evening. And a big welcome. It's great to see Judy and Carl here tonight to join us. Thank you very, very much for coming. Always a pleasure to have you here. A few things to keep on your calendar, some days to mark. Tomorrow morning, we've got Torah study at 9. And Sunday at 5:30, our adult ed team brings us a session with Ron Bloomberg. Now, for those that are not baseball fans, Ron Bloomberg is the answer to one of the most popular trivia questions: who was the first designated hitter? And that, of course, was former Yankee Ron Bloomberg. Registration links are available in this week's e-blast. That'll be Sunday at 5:30. Simchat Torah services will be Monday night at 7. Register online, rtfh.org/services. And Tuesday morning, we'll have Simchat Torah morning services with Yisker. That'll be at 10:30. Registration available online as well. As we approach the end of the high holidays, and as we complete our readings of the Torah and get ready to restart, I turn to a one-hit wonder from the 90s from a band called Semisonic, who in their song Closing Time remind us that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
As we end services tonight, we're going to offer the motzi. There'll be challah available in the front of the room on your way out. And our Tagoneg, sponsored by our Women's Connection, is available. And I think my parents, Carl and Judy, sponsored tonight's Tagoneg, so thank you to them. You are all invited to get your parents to sponsor things at Temple, too. Children, siblings, it's a very family affair tonight. So, what? Yeah. So you got to be more dramatic, Clayton. Clayton, do be dramatic. Yeah. With a special presentation for Milo, we invite up Clayton Frank, our board members and our Toffee, and we invite Milo back up.
Good evening. My name is Clayton Frank, and I am the Membership and Engagement Vice President of Toffee. And we just, on behalf of all of us, we would like to wish you a wonderful weekend. And anyway, so we are giving you a bunch of toffee because at Toffee we love puns, and are looking forward to seeing you there. So anyway.
We join in the motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'te'avon. Our closing song is Hine Matov, and you all know the words.
הנה מה טוב, ומנעים שבין גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, Moedim L'Simcha, Chag Sameach. If anyone wants to shake the lulav or the etrog, I'll be downstairs in the sukkah in a few minutes.
I thank you, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you. Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Well, I went back to school yesterday,
Yeah?
and I measured the little beast. And the problem is I don't have enough small-size instruments.